Now, ahead of struggling with low dam water levels, several Nelson Mandela Bay dams are at 100% capacity. While the region is experiencing some reprieve from drought, an important task of retaining and managing water resources lies ahead. Let's get an update now from Garth Sampson, who is with the South African Weather Services. He's the spokesperson in Nelson Mandela Bay. Garth, thank you for making time for us. So for the first time since, 2015, Nelson Mandela Bay has 3 of its 5 dams reaching 100% capacity. What does this mean for this drought-stricken metro?
No, it's all dams except Impofu that is not 100%. Prundal, Churchill, they're all at 100% except Impofu, which is our main storage dam. That is 100% correct. The first time since 2015, an 8-year meteorological drought.
My understanding is that the metro's largest supply dam, is it the Cougar, is measuring at 99.3% for Friday afternoon. So is it expected then to overflow anytime soon?
Well, number one, just a correction, the Cougar Dam did overflow on Friday night, and it's at 101.3%, if I'm not mistaken. And just to correct, that is not Gebege's main supply dam. We have got a 30% allocation on that dam. Most of it is for other uses, especially agriculture. The big problem is our main supply dam is the Churchill, which overflows into the Impofu. The Impofu is almost as large as the Cougar, and that is our main supply dam.
Okay. So as spectacular then as these dam levels are, we can't officially say the drought is over, can we?
Meteorologically, yes, the drought is over meteorologically. But hydrologically, that means the amount of available water. It is on a touchy edge at the moment because we need that Impofu Dam to recover a bit. But the good news is it looks like another system's moving through this weekend. So we could see some fantastic news after the weekend if those levels rise. And they should rise because the dam, the Churchill is at 100%. The deep reprieve, which comes into the Impofu, is saturated at the moment. It's running, but although not strong, it is running. So any rainfall now is going to give fantastic runoff.
Should the department now then consider relaxing the water restrictions that have been imposed on the metro?
Well, that is entirely up to them. But on a personal note, I'm from this firm belief in this world we live in, population growth is one of our biggest problems. So the demand for water is always there. And if we go according to the proponents of climate change, peaks will be higher and troughs lower. In other words, floods will be worse and droughts will be worse. And added to that, the increase in population, the next drought is around the corner. We know that for a fact from biblical times, the 7 good years and the 7 bad years. So we must try and at all costs level that curve so that we are more frugal with water in the wet periods. So when we get to the dry periods, that our levels are still high. They can carry us through those dry periods to the next wet period.
All right, so the department, it wouldn't be the best idea for them to stop restrictions completely? I mean, even if we reach over 110% of water, because water is so precious, right? We must still somehow try and flatten the curve.
Most definitely. If you go back in history now, just to 2015, in 2015, all the dams, including the Impofu, were overflowing strongly. In 2018, we implemented water restrictions. 3 years later, and then we battled for 5 years. If we had, according to Water Affairs, officials. If we had stuck to our quotas with the previous drought, we wouldn't have been in such a bad situation. So we've got to be disciplined even in the good times. Like I always say, preservation is the key to sustainability.
Mm-hmm. What do you think local authorities should be focused on now to avoid yet another situation where water resources are limited and are restricted?
Well, they have to fix the water leaks. We have an inherent problem with water leaks. But water leaks are something like your dirty dishes. You can never finish them. So when you fix one, another one arrives. But there must be a concerted effort there. And also, my strong personal belief is that there should be a concerted effort to educate the public on the scarcity of water and that we live in a water scarce environment. So that is the main thing, is educate the public. Apparently in Cape Town, they got such a big fright, they are still very frugal with their water usage. My biggest fear is that they lift restrictions and people just suddenly start using water like mad, and we're back in that situation within 2-3 years where we've got these harsh restrictions, etc. So easing restrictions is a very good thing. I think the public has suffered quite a bit, and easing restrictions would be a bit of a bonus now, but also educating the public is a very big thing.
Okay, so municipalities often talk about the challenges they have with infrastructure. So in terms of infrastructure, what are some of the biggest challenges that municipalities are confronted with?
Water leaks.
Okay, and
that's it.
How do they fix it?
Yeah, water leaks. Well, it costs money. Remember the infrastructure. Gebege is, 200 years old or more. Some of those pipes are 50, 100 years old. They were traditionally made out of cast iron and galvanized pipe. And those things over the ages have started to rust. And they pop in one at a time. Remember, another problem they've also got is load shedding. Whenever there's load shedding, the reservoirs start running dry, and because of high demand. And when they switch on again, that increase in pressure does immense damage to these pipelines. So yes, they've got a very big challenge with the aging infrastructure, and to repair it naturally takes resources, money, personnel, etc.
All right, Garth, Sampson, thank you for making time for us this afternoon.